My guest today is a gentleman who works tirelessly during times of crisis, and I think he perceives the need for affordable housing as a relentless crisis, and during times of relative quiet, to advocate, raise money, physically build and rebuild housing for people who need it. Jim Killoran is Executive Director of Westchester Habitat for Humanity, a much honored individual. It is my honor to welcome him to this program. I'm Alice Bloom. This is A Town and Village Too. Welcome back, Jim. Thanks for being my guest on this 25th anniversary.
It's a great honor, and I've been here with you before, and no better thing to be on LMC TV and throughout Manhattan and all of Westchester and wherever your viewers are. We need you. We need volunteers.
Well, now you're Executive Director of the Westchester Habitat for Humanity, but you're also pretty prominent in the Rockaways these days.
Well, I've been in the New York area on Habitat boards most of my life. I was on the Patterson board. I was on the Lower East Side of Habitat Board of Directors. What happened in the town of Mamaroneck in 2007 led me to the Rockaways. Well, that sounds odd. But
no, we had terrible floods in the town of in Mamaroneck,
right,
not only the town.
The floods that hit here, really in the flats on Howard Avenue, gave us the practice and the knowledge to go out and help more than 800 families with 7,500 volunteers for 8.5 months in the Rockaways. A friend of mine who's CFO of Sony Music, my high school buddy, called and said, please come out. And he knew what we had done, bring generators and pumps. I went out, and the ambulance got stuck that night at the end of the street in Bell Harbor in the sand. We slept in the cold. We went and pumped out all the homes on the street. I went into the next neighborhood and saw 2 people drifting, asking me to drive them to their home, pick up clothing so they could be driven to a Brooklyn shelter. But we had done in 2007 over 200 homes, mucking and gutting, rehabbing
200 homes in just Mamaroneck?
Town of Mamaroneck, in the flats, building, rebuilding, and then I remember Phil Reisman wrote an article the day before Hurricane Irene hit about our flood award-winning designed homes that the Covingtons live in now, that we knocked down a condemned home, and it was above the flood line. He said, you'd want to live in these homes. When Irene hit, that street got hurt again, but their homes, they didn't have to.
The homes raised?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's really what, we don't think New York is surrounded by water, but everybody take a good look at the maps. Look at the Sound Shore.
Hurricane Sandy, I mean, whoever would have thought Manhattan would be flooded?
Right.
The Brooklyn BQE, the Brooklyn Tunnel
underwater.
Flooded, underwater.
Right.
I mean, it was kind of a thought that this might happen in the next 50 to 100 years.
Well, I've been involved with all the Office of Emergency Management meetings every morning for 9 months. And they estimate that in the next 50 years, 30 inches of water will rise. And that could submerge Manhattan, that could submerge the Sound Shore. And the 100-year storms are getting to be the 1-year storm. And our environment is very fragile right now. And part of our theme tonight is green, green, green. We've taken it for granted. We've pounded it with concrete. We've overdeveloped it, and it's time to take it back. And there's a lot about the tipping point. Have we reached that or not? For our producers here, who are the cameramen in the future, and for your viewers, we have to take it back, and we can do it. I believe we can do it.
And you're really living it. I mean, I know you believe in alternative energy, and your headquarters in New Rochelle is a completely.
Right.
It's
not off the grid yet. One of my goals is to make it off the grid.
Okay, so what are you using now for energy?
We have solar panels on a third of the roof, and we have 2 other major areas. I had another company come, and we're going to put solar shingles and possibly a living green roof on there.
Now, when you
as an example,
when you have solar, do you get to sell back some of the energy?
In other states now, that my sister in Massachusetts just put solar on her house. I encouraged her, and they're selling that energy back to the energy companies. To think that wind and solar couldn't be throughout every town and city of our viewers, that concrete tops of parking lots couldn't be solar farms, that concrete parking lots couldn't be areas where wind turbines are. In some areas, there are little wind turbines around all huge parking lots, generating energy for the lights.
Well, what's holding it up? We know that Europe is so far ahead of us.
Europe, you read about, the New York Times did an article on the wind turbines in Italy. Germany is the #1 solar company in the world today. You know, and there's always a question, well, what's my payback? Well, what's our payback if we don't? What are we passing on to our kids?
What's stopping the development of
I think lobbyists, you know, we know that money talks. And the fallacy that you cannot save money. It's too much out front. I'll never get my money back. And the minute you put solar panels on any building, you're appreciating the value for the future. Immediately, if you're in real estate, you want that on there, as well as saving energy. And so, you know, very few people think that you're appreciating the value and resale value.
Are there zoning laws that prohibit people from doing that?
You know, it's funny, in some of the towns, they won't allow solar panels on homes because they don't look nice. Like, duh. Excuse my language, but, you know, we are at a critical time for the future of rebuilding this country. And energy and water are the #1 and 2 issues for the future of our viewers, of our college students, of our communities. If we don't think that's true, then people are not looking at the real facts and what has happened over the last 3 months that we see, from crisis to weather event to weather advisory boards to 100-degree weathers. It's a critical time to change. Increase public transportation, increase alternative energy. I'm not saying get rid of oil, get rid of traditional forms, but be smarter and be greener and be healthier.
Sure.
Now, here's one interesting fact. In the South Bronx right now, kids are getting paid to grow food in some of the biggest urban farms in the country, making jobs, and then doing it in the Hamptons as well. I think that the green energy area is one of the biggest growth areas for jobs in the future for our viewers, and also urban greening of communities.
Now, you had some ideas for an urban farm in Yonkers.
We actually are doing that. We were able to get land, and you know, if you said I was going to be an urban farmer 3 years ago, I'd say maybe, because in 1991, on Avenue C and East 10th Street, back in the day on the our lower side, or as they call it, the Lower East Side. And you walk through, and with Williams College alumni, homeless, and my staff, I was running an agency, we took 2 lots and transformed them in the beginning of what was an urban garden. Today, no one knows me there, which is fine. And the 2 lots are like luscious, vibrant, you'd feel like you were in Brazil in the rainforest. With cookout areas and seatings, and it's so as green goes up, crime goes down. As home ownership goes up, education and stability and crime goes down, and taxes go up. We have one of my other theories is that in the New York area, real estate is a commodity, not a right. Our answer in Westchester for affordable housing is a Tappan Zee Bridge, send people over the bridge. And for major corporations who tell their, like IBM, live in Connecticut, Dutchess, or Putnam, because you can never afford it here. New York is the #1 exited state, the highest tax state, and we're in the highest tax county. And it's the least in volunteerism, last in the country.
New York is the least in volunteerism?
But it makes sense. And I'm not well liked by a lot of groups. Because I say, if your church or synagogue isn't volunteering once a month, I mean, if every church or synagogue or temple adopted one family in Sandy, everyone would be in by now. And that isn't against the faith community. I'm just saying, every service group that sits for dinner and said, oh, we believe in service, and they sing a song, every company, every high school, etc. So it's time to take back our communities, touch it not on a computer screen, but with our hands. Whether you're GED or PhD, learn how to build and grow food, and have fun doing it.
Well, let's talk about some of the things that Habitat has initiated. You've got a shop in Mount Vernon that you're calling a Made in America
What a
store.
foreign concept, Made in America, right?
Okay,
we want to make tables.
What are you making?
We're making tables, planters. When you see planters in a neighborhood, you know now Habitat is there. Dog houses, playhouses, toolboxes,
Gazebos?
birdhouses. We can design anything. We're just starting. One of our goals is we're taking used pallets, which are thrown away everywhere, and we're making furniture out of it.
Pallets, meaning the things that are used for delivering?
Yeah, you stock containers of food on pallets so it won't get wet on the floor. Pallets are everywhere by thousands, and we can use that wood. Many people don't know that's oak wood.
No.
And make coffee tables, make tables, make beds, IKEA beds for college students that they can take it and throw a futon on top of it and have a place.
So if you're looking for furniture for your college student, or you're furnishing your first house, or whatever your needs are, check out the store in Mount Vernon.
Made in America.
Made in America.
We're doing it, and it's.
And who are the folks who are making it?
We have students. We have high school students. We have veterans.
Okay.
We believe that we need to teach America to build again, and a lot of areas. One of the reasons why jobs aren't there is we make nothing. We make nothing in this country. We make nothing in this county.
Can we really compete with the IKEAs and the stuff that's made in China?
Well, again, is it the almighty dollar, or is it our almighty lives of the college students who can't even get hired? Okay, so we save money and the stocks go up. The unemployment rate in our communities, no matter whether you're educated or not, is really
So if you're
suffering.
a student, or if you're someone who would like to learn how to build furniture,
go to our website, habitatwc.org, and we have a Made in America Facebook page as well.
Okay.
Made in America Facebook page. And we've been doing this for years in terms of the forms of a builder's camps, building tool sheds and planters. We're just taking it to that next level. I really need to thank Bronx River Equipment that is donating this space to us. And it's right around the corner from our recycling store, the Restore.
And so I want to talk about the Restore in a minute, but I just want to get back to this point. If you need something for your yard, you need a box to hold cushions.
Right.
You could come to to Made in America and say, I need a box, these are the dimensions, can you design something for me?
Right. Go to Made in America Facebook,
Okay.
get the information on how to apply, and as the fall comes, we want people to start putting in orders on things that would be good for their homes.
Okay.
It will generate jobs for veterans. We already hired one veteran to help run it. And today we had youth from all over the New York area volunteering there, a veteran. We had Bronxville High School and college graduate running it. And there's a buzz that this is going to help people in the neighborhood, and it is already.
Now tell me about the Restore. I know that there is one in New Rochelle.
Right.
Where are there other ones?
There's one in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
There are 700 in the country now.
Okay.
I could fill 10 Home Depots right now with all the stuff people want to donate to us.
Now, what kinds of things do people donate?
So they donate tables. They donate
Furniture.
warehouse fulls of carpet. Starwood Hotels will call us and say they have extra robes and brand new towels from the St. Regis Hotel. Will you pick it up? We went down to Manhattan and we picked up a stove from a commercial that Martha Stewart did that they can't resell. The most odd thing we ever got was a call from ABC, and they say, will you take a house? I said, what? We just built a house on ABC on the Regis and Kelly show in Manhattan, underneath the ABC symbol. 2 million people sent in the postcard to win the house. People watched it being built for 6 months. They didn't think about what they were going to do at the end of the contest. So they say, okay, do you want a house, but you got to tell me by tomorrow.
Oh, not
So
many people have a place to put a house. Okay.
So or have you ever taken a house down in the middle of Manhattan?
No.
Neither had I. So I literally prayed about it. Went down there, I look at it, I bring one of my construction guys, and it was a McMansion like you'd see out here with all the bells and whistles. We went down there with companies like MBIA, volunteers from Mamaroneck and from New York City, took the house down, recycled it, resold $80,000 worth of it. Regis is saying, and Habitat at Westchester got the house. And we would go down there. I had three weeks of youth. And I said, okay, this year you have a choice to either go work in Yonkers, or you can come and see Barbara Walters every morning and see the view and walk by the ABC symbol and take down a house. They said, we're going down. Now, they had to get up early.
Well, one of the biggest challenges to donating, I know, is having things picked up. So
right. Years ago, people used to pick up. There a lot of organizations used to pick up. We do go out and pick up. Yeah, a lot of people wanted it picked up tomorrow. They'll call you one day, but so there's a time frame.
Okay.
But we pick up. We ask for a suggested donation for the guys we pay on the truck for the gas, but the donor also gets a tax write-off. So that's significant.
That's a nice
so
little
it's win-win-win,
benefit.
triple green, right?
Now, do you take furnishings and
We
household
take
items
furniture.
as well?
We just got beautiful furniture, brand new furniture, which we get quite a bit.
Okay.
We get roofing supplies. We get the dealers, the antique dealers, are the first one to come into our New Rochelle store.
Okay.
And I had two people fight once over what looked like a crayon painting. And they said, "What do you want? I mean, what's this?" He said, "Well, we'll give you 50. And the guy goes, "No, I'll give you 100. This was early on, and it had been a Rauschenberg.
Oh, no. And so how much did you let it go for?
We sold it for 100 because
$100.
and they came back and said, I sold it on eBay for $5,000.
Did they make a nice little donation?
And they made a donation back.
Okay.
Not as much as they should have. But do you remember, I think it was just a month ago that someone found a teacup in a tag sale worth $2 million. So come to the Restore because you might find that teacup.
And the Restore is on Main Street.
We have one on Main Street, which is right in the heart of New Rochelle, 524, and our headquarters is above it with the solar panels and a lot of green faces like mine up there.
Okay.
And we have a lot of people that come in all the time. People think also the only way you can volunteer is by building. We need mentors for families. We have special events, especially for our 25th anniversary. We need people to work in the office. We need volunteers in the Restores all the time. And, someone's trash is another treasure. So people really love to volunteer. And it's fun being in the I love being in the Restore because...
So give me the contact information again. If someone has a few hours a week and...
Right. Again, we have volunteer orientation on Monday nights at 6 o'clock. But again, all this is on our website, habitatwc.org or Habitat for Humanity of Westchester Facebook.
Okay.
That's easier for us to post things frequently and fast.
You know what's amazing to me? Most of us think of Habitat and we think of Jimmy Carter building houses.
I've been with him 5 times, and Rosalind's much nicer. No, I'm kidding.
Well, she's prettier.
Actually, this is probably the biggest year, next 3 months of visibility in the New York area. President Carter will be out October 9th and 10th in Manhattan with Rosalind. And we will, it's the 30th anniversary of Habitat International. Millard Fuller and his wife, Linda, were close friends and were the founders of Habitat. And we buried him underneath a pecan tree in the first black-white Christian community in southwest Georgia, unembalmed. He was a millionaire, like many of your viewers, and gave it all up and went to Zaire. And we welcome people of all faiths and no faith. I mean, my most honored time is when I speak at Shabbat service. And I'm just a goy that can't say no. So, we call it the theology of the hammer. No matter what you believe in, we can all believe everyone should go to bed at night in a simple, decent home. So you don't know whether you're next to the CEO or this faith or that faith or the person doing community service. The Habitat site is the equalizer. And really, you're rebuilding community from the bottom up, like
now,
an organic garden. You're building.
Where else have you been with Jimmy Carter? I know you went to Haiti.
I was with him in Haiti. I was with him in South Central Los Angeles. I was with him in Harlem. I think it was about 10 years ago. I've been with him down in Southwest Georgia in some private gatherings with Rosalind and the founder of Habitat. And I've been blessed to meet former President Bush, Daddy Bush, I call him, and met some Hillary. Came to the floods in Mamaroneck, and significant. I met Bill Clinton in Haiti, which was funny because we came down. I saw Secret Service everywhere. Very few people know that Bill and Hillary and Nita and her husband both had their honeymoons in Haiti, which was once called
Nita Lowy. Right?
Yes, Nita Lowy, the Pearl of the Caribbean. So, but more importantly, I meet all walks of life, and we have companies, and we have congregations, and we have kids, all with the belief that people can live in a decent home. And since the war on poverty, I could have built everyone a house and a vacation house. Since Lyndon Johnson, ownership is the game changer. We saw 5 candidates from Manhattan sleep overnight
for mayor in Manhattan, right? They were sleeping in a housing project. What was that all about?
If you don't know that NYCHA is horrific housing by now, had those been ownership, each of those units for each of those families, and that's what I believe has to happen. There's pride in ownership.
Do you think it matters? I mean, a lot of the housing...
We treat people today still like they can't help themselves, which is one of the most debilitating feeding a fish type of mentality in our communities
But
that
ha-
we haven't come that
Here
far
in
along.
Mamaroneck, of course, we've had the Washingtonville Housing Alliance for a long
Right,
time that has
right.
helped people buy homes and take care of homes.
Absolutely.
And they've been very good. Do you find the
And our
model?
first house was here too. Habitat
in-
was.
It
Sure.
was in Mamaroneck.
Yeah, mortgage paid.
Do you find that the model for housing has changed? I remember the housing projects that were built in the 50s,
Right.
the 60s. Have many of them have
You know,
come
it's
down?
yes and no. It's and look at the fight we have in the. There's a historic lawsuit that will be studied for years to come, when this guy's in law school, or one of our cameramen, and beyond. We're talking about 750 units of
We're
housing
talking about this
in
suit
the Westchester County
right.
lawsuit.
Right.
That's nothing. And just see it as a great challenge to creatively dream about how you can create beautiful, green, affordable ownership housing in your community. You don't become a stakeholder till you own
How do you
something.
define affordable housing?
Affordable is relative, and it's kind of like a dirty word, or it's a word that creeps up, and you say, well, it's affordable. Well, of course it's affordable.
No, but there's a real definition for affordable.
Right. Well, but each HUD usually goes by certain guidelines of income levels in every community.
Right.
So it can be 50% of the HUD medium income level is what we go by for.
So in Westchester, what would that be?
Usually it's like 60,000 for a family of 4, 40,000 for a smaller family. But
We're talking
we
about
know,
working people.
yeah, and we know it's getting harder and harder because we're in the highest tax county. And then if you're a senior citizen or a veteran on a fixed income, forget about it, as they say. You will never win.
But you see, a
so
lot of people-
we rehab those homes. We call it brush with kindness,
Okay.
because you can't maintain your home, have heat or eat in the winter. And real estate is something that people, if everyone has a right to live decently, from Manhattan
What
to
do you
Queens
say to
Manhattan.
people who say the need is endless, and the more housing that you build,
Right.
the more people will come to?
Well, people
claim.
get fearful of the school, more people with taxes. I mean, if you don't create ownership housing that goes back, see, our land goes back on the tax rolls.
Right.
Rental housing does not. Tax credits gives the developer a lot of money. You asked about have we come this far? We knocked down projects, but we built rentals again. 20 years from now, I want to see those, and you're not going to see, and it's going to be those people,
Well,
the
you never really quite
horrible.
answered the question that I
Yes, I
asked.
apologize.
Which is, the model was multi-story buildings
Right.
with apartments, and then it seemed to be modified into being
Townhouses,
townhouses,
right?
connected homes.
Right.
Do you have an opinion about what is a more successful model?
I'm not against condominiums. Condos
So
are very
high-rise,
green and
yeah.
saving energy, with great community green space, attractive, decent. We are captives to our own history of looking at what we've seen.
Yeah.
If you Google across the world, green, affordable home ownership.
So you don't think it really matters? I mean, the project mentality is not because it was a high-rise building.
Right.
It was the ownership issue.
Right. Ownership changes everything. We're going to do a 50-unit condo building, green, for veterans. It's going to be beautiful, and it's
where
going
is that going to be?
That one's going to be in Yonkers. That's 2 years out. We have done condos already, and there are community villages of condominiums that are being, because the smaller the house in condo, the greener you are in a way, right? You said to me the day, you moved in,
I went to the big house. I was looking to exit.
you're looking to exit, right?
Right.
And people move out and
Right.
they say, oh, I wish I was back on the stoop in Brooklyn on the steps, even though we didn't have much. So community is what everything is about, and the success we made fake communities. Affordable home ownership with public transportation is the new urban model. The trend is for people to move back to urban areas.
Right.
Gas prices are guaranteed to be, we're at $4.17 now, folks. Give us 5 years, we'll be at $12.17.
Okay, but let me ask you this question about affordable housing, and this
Yes.
is another issue I've heard. You're building housing for veterans, certainly a revered.
Not just veterans, single moms,
in
seniors.
that complex,
Yeah.
will it be devoted just to veterans, or will it be
We
simply-
have mixed housing models of all different level incomes. That's a model that's being done. Remember, we're the 6th largest builder in the country now.
Well, I guess my question is,
Right.
what is the most successful
The good
model
thing
in
about
your opinion?
the good thing about veterans is that
There are lots of good things about veterans, but they also often are handy. But my question,
Right.
they know how to fix stuff. My question is this:
And live for
is
service.
it a good idea to cluster people of the same heritage or the same
background? Right. And I think that's a fair question.
I don't know the answer.
Right.
I'm not trying
There are
to be
mixed income
provocative.
communities. A lot of developments have set asides for affordable home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's whatever the community can grow together and agree upon too. And I think that's an important thing. When the community by design excludes the school maintenance worker, the synagogue worker, the policeman, the bus driver, we're really not, we talk about the American...
Well, but that we were talking about that before, and that is, I think, a misunderstanding about what affordable housing is.
Right.
When people realizing we're talking about affordable housing for our teachers, for our firefighters, for our police officers.
Right.
We're not talking about people who aren't pulling their weight in our society. We're talking about
Right.
people who are imperative and important to us.
And interesting, and all, right, vital.
But can't afford to live in our communities.
Can't afford to live in New York.
Right. And
That's why it's the highest exodus state.
How
Because
many-
real estate is God in New York. And when we don't, Levittown and the GI Bill and communities like that, and Broad Channel and the Rockaways with low taxes, now people are leaving New York because real estate is pushing them out, and people come into communities like Westchester to get their kids through the school, and then I'm out of here. We can do so much better than that. We're brighter than this. We can be creative, and we can create green communities where we can. I want to live in West.
But what do you do about the tax structure here?
Well, part of it is, I think, and this is radical. No elected official should get a salary. That's
You hear that? You heard that
yeah,
here?
I think people should donate, that you should be on the council for free for 2 years, and I be on the
I know
council.
in many communities, in the village of Mamaroneck,
Right.
there's
And
I
they're
think, a minimal
professional.
stipend.
Now
Right?
that's, but remember,
Yeah.
you keep,
Right.
keep adding those pensions up. I mean,
Right,
for
it
2
does.
terms in the Rochelle, you get a lifetime pension.
But the taxes are a
That's
very big
unheard
problem
of. We'll
here.
never
You're
cover
talking
that. You have to fund that. What do you think? So that's a piece of how you knock it down. The rental housing is not creating taxes. I like that I create taxes every time I close.
So you're saying
on
it's owned.
I put land back on the tax rolls, and I challenge non-governmental groups like the faith community, the corporate community, the kids selling brownies, the foundations, to walk the talk and give money for us to build that affordable housing. Because there's enough money for us to get it right. And the war on poverty, I want to end it.
You're like a one-man, you've got your own soapbox here. Who do you work with?
Anyone to listen to me, and Sally, to say you had to and your viewers did tonight. But
It's my pleasure.
I know.
No, I mean, do you have a colleague or someone who's
I have
your alter
a
ego?
staff of team. I have a great board of directors,
Okay.
Advisors. I have other directors across the country who have that infectious disease called hepatitis, and it's horrible. You can never get rid of it. What I've seen in my lifetime is I've seen communities change. I can change a community in a day with 300 volunteers. Can you say NMU?
NMU?
No more ugly. No neighborhood in this county, in this country, should be ugly for any kid.
No broken window syndrome.
No broken window, exactly. And with 300 volunteers, or 500, which I have now calling me and coming out daily, I've worked hard for that. I feel like Forrest Gump. What happens if I stop in the middle of the road while we're running down the road? I have thousands of volunteers of good who make it NMU every day and change neighborhoods and their own lives in turn.
Well, we
It's
wish
amazing.
you many, many more years of changing neighborhoods
Listen,
and lives.
and we need you
25
and all your
years.
viewers. 25 years and we're just starting. And we need to have a paradigm shift to take it back for your viewers, for the kids that are running these cameras, from Manhattan to Queens to the Rockaways to...
Well, let's hope it doesn't take a crisis to bring us back together again.
Well, the
We're gonna
crisis
call on
is
you.
good. The crisis is good because it makes people, when you're hurting, you listen more.
I suppose, but we have to develop
We
a
don't want any
mentality.
more crisis.
As our governor has said, let's put politics aside.
Right.
100-year storms are happening every year. We have to
Be
account
smarter.
for this. We have to be smarter.
Absolutely.
Jim, thank you so much for being my
Thank
guest.
you. It's an
always
honor
my
to be
pleasure.
here, and to all your
We're going
viewers.
to have you back again very soon.
If
for
you
an
dare.
update.
All
I
right.
will. I want to hear about Restore, and I want to hear about Made in America.
Hear, hear.
Please check the
What a-
website.
yeah,
I'm
thank you.
Alice Bloom. This is A Town and Village 2. Thanks for watching.